Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today I want to give you guys a sponsored Dungeon Hunter Champions video where I talk about the general mechanics in the game and give you guys a step through as a beginner getting into it for the first time. If you're like more of an intermediate player, more of an expert player, you guys can pick up a lot of the tips from the streams. I've streamed a lot of hours in this game. I've played since launch. I play 5-6 hours a day. It's a game I play on the side while I'm doing work, while I'm doing other stuff, while I'm with Rania in the car driving somewhere. This is what I'm doing, okay? I'm grinding up some bosses, getting some gear in Dungeon Hunters Champions. And it's a lot of fun. Most people that have tried this game really love it. You can get hooked very easily. Right now I'm playing on the Windows 10 client, but it's also available for Android and iOS, so it is a very, very good cross-platform game. It's a game that you can play in many different ways. There's lots of different game modes, and I generally play the macro strategy. I typically play this game while I'm doing other stuff most of the time, so I don't know how to manual the characters very well, so I try to build characters that are particularly good on autoplay, so I can do that while I work or whatever throughout the day. So that's what's up. It is actually a very free-to-play friendly game. In fact, one of the most free-to-play friendly games that I have seen in the mobile space, even though of course it has a Windows port as well. So right now I'm in Epic Gaming. Let me see here, guilds, way at the end. #1 rank guild in Dungeon Hunter Champions. That's right, shout out boys. Thank you so much for having me. I've been with them for months now. And yeah, they do really well. They do really well in Arena. I do pretty well in Arena. I'm rank 10 Arena right now, but I played last night on stream and I got to rank 1. So I am one of the very top players in this game, just so you guys can see how much I've played. Let's see here. So I don't play 5v5 very much. 5v5 is basically like a full MOBA mode. It actually has a MOBA within this game with the characters that you acquire. So energy spent, I'm 78th. So I have 300 and basically 67,000 energy spent in Dungeon Hunters Champions. So that's a lot. When you do an action in this game, you're looking at like 4 or 5 at the peak, maybe like 8 or 9 energy. So I have played a lot of this game. Okay, I'm like rank 12 on the Elder Drake kill list. I'm doing okay with battle rating. I'm going to be a lot higher on the next laundry day because I have recently leveled up a lot of my higher tier champions. So I know a lot about this game. I have a tier list out there, and I think the tier list is the best written form for new to intermediate, maybe even expert players on what champions to build. Even though I'm in a #1 ranked guild and all that, and this is a game where you can pay money to get some stuff, we have people in our guild, the #1 guild, who are absolutely free to play. It's possible. You can get there because for the very simple fact that most of the really good, most of the best champions in the entire game are very easily obtainable through free-to-play or through farming. So yeah, I'm one of the best arena players. I'm probably going to change this soon enough, but like my defense right now is Violet, so Dark Dryad. This is a 3-star summon, so anyone can get this. You can even farm Dark Bull for the shards if you want to farm it slowly. Light Dryad's kind of like the same thing, so you can just get 2 Dark Dryads if you really want. I have Dark Magic Girl, which can be pretty difficult to obtain, but almost everyone has Blue Magic Girl. In fact, I have Blue Magic Girl too, and I'm trying to gear her up here. I just need a few more skill ups. Red Greater Demon is a very powerful Nat 5 unit, can be very rare, but there are some replacements. So I'm using 1 rare unit here, basically 1 on. I have one of the best arena defenses in the game right now. My typical arena offense is Green Pirate, which is a Nat 4, can be substituted for Red Boon and use a different DPS. I use the Green Valk, in my opinion, the best unit in the game, which is a Nat 3. I made a free-to-play account on one of the days that I played Dungeon Hunter Champions, and I basically got her within like 20 minutes of a free-to-play brand new account. So these champions are very, very easy to obtain. I've opened hundreds of Green Valkyries over my time playing Dungeon Hunter Champions. Dark Dryad as well. Greater Demon is not as important on offense. There's a lot of offense teams. You can even see who who has attacked you, and you can see just, not even that many of the teams have the Greater Demon on offense. A lot of people opt to not use the Greater Demon on offense. It's just, okay, I have a very good defensive setup, but my arena offense is not even that strong. So a lot of these guys that I have that are rare aren't necessary, and that basically is the scope of the game. If you're starting out, there's a few champions you want to aim for. This is Red Boon. A lot of the time people don't understand why the champions have two names. Obviously it's pretty basic stuff, but it does confuse new players a lot. So this is the Red Boon. It's the red. Red does well against green, and green does well against blue, and blue does well against red, and dark and light do additional damage to one another. It's kind of like the meta. It is somewhat important in PvP in the late game, but not as important when you're starting out. You'll get the feel for what's good and what's not good in this department pretty quickly, I would say. So when people say Red Boon, they mean a Red Boon sister, but sometimes, people refer to her as Cassandra, and that's because they gain a name when you ascend them. And ascending is a very easy process. You just farm bulls a little bit and you just get it. So a lot of the time people say Green Valkyrie is the best champion in the game, Rota is the best champion in the game. It's the same champion, okay? Green Valkyrie is Valkyrie, it's the green one, and when you ascend her, her name becomes Rota, okay? So you can kind of see from this page what you're looking for. Rota brings lower defense. So one thing to keep in mind is that in this game, strategy counts for a lot. And the reason this is so is because buffs and debuffs have just monumental impact in the games that you play. So lower defense is 70% reduced defense. Lower attack is 70% reduced attack. Raise attack speed is 70% increased attack speed. If you had a raise attack, that's a 70% increased attack. Basically what I'm trying to get at is if you have a good team in terms of covering most or maybe even all of the buffs and debuffs, and your opponent doesn't, there's no amount of gear, there's no amount of units, there's just nothing that's going to allow him to beat you. Okay, you need to have a balanced comp like nearly 100% of the time if you're going to do well. That is the core of the game, and that is why strategy typically cuts through everything else. So I consider Rota the best champion in the game, and she is a 3-star unit. She has the lower defense, which is very crucial, lower attack, which is very good. Guys attack you, you're not going to do as much damage as they normally would. Raise attack speed, and it lowers the cooldown of other skills of your party members, so that's huge. She has a decent leadership, but more importantly, she does tremendous damage. And she's just tremendous damage because if you look at her skills, they all scale with attack speed. And if you get a Green Valkyrie, your Green Valkyrie might not do that much damage at the start, but as you get good gear on her, you'll realize that it's attack that increases the damage, but I actually don't have any attack speed on these. Wow, lacking attack speed. There we go, attack speed. So you can stack attack speed and attack, whereas most other champions only have a singular scaling mechanic. Valkyrie, along with a few other champions, has a dual stat scaling mechanic, which means you can really, really scale her damage through gear. So her damage in endgame is top of the line. I consider her the highest utility character in the game. She's one of the highest DPS units in the game, and I think she's hands down the absolute best arena offense unit in the game. So that's a 3-star unit. I've opened hundreds of them. I use Red Boon. This is Cassandra, red Boon sister. She has the buff removal, so if your opponent has buffs, you can remove the buffs. She's a healer, but she has raise attack on her heal. Raise attack is a pretty rare buff right now, and she has lower defense on her last skill, which again can really increase your damage because the defense goes down by 70% when this debuff is applied to your enemies. Another character I really recommend is Monument. Monument is the Red Dragon Guard, and he has the defense increasing buff. Combined combined with the red Boon Sister, Cassandra, you will not need to use Mojo. Mojo is a very good character, and you'll notice that, you know, as you play this game after a few weeks, you're going to get a lot of luxury characters. You know, I have lots and lots of characters, but I don't really need most of them. To get your first core team up and running, if you play quite a bit, it's not going to take more than, like, you know, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks of playing a few hours a day. But you can do it on the side if you want. So I recommend you try to get a red Boon Sister. You get the attack up, and she's a good healer. I recommend you get Monument, who's a very good tank. He is also farmable. He's also a 3-star. He's one of the best champions in the game, and it's largely because he doesn't need cooldown reduction to keep up his buffs and debuffs, while almost all the other characters in the game do. This gear flexibility will mean that he is always going to have way above average gear over your other champions, and that's a very important factor. So you want to get red Boon, you want to get red Dragon Guard, you want to get Rota, which is the green Valkyrie. She does attack speed up, so you have almost all the defensive debuffs for your targets, but you're going to have attack speed up, defense up, and attack up. Those are like the big three. And also the red Dragon Guard has an immunity. If someone is about to die, he will save them with a immunity for a few seconds, and that can be a really big deal. Also, I do recommend Blue Timekeeper, which ascends into Manas. Manas is primarily strong because of his leadership. So you want to have a leadership with cooldown skill reduction time. Blue Timekeeper and Red Timekeeper are the ones that are popularly used besides the greater demons. And he just has incredible utility. Block buff, mortal wound stops healing. Ongoing damage is percentage-based damage. Ongoing damage is very good damage if you have poor gear, because it doesn't scale with gear. So if you have really good gear, typically, like if you're at my level of play in Dungeon Hunter Champions, you're not going to care about ongoing damage too much, but for everybody else, you probably are going to really care about ongoing damage. He can heal a little bit, and he also reduces the cooldowns of your allies quite a bit. So he's very good as well, and that's your leadership character. And your last spot, typically you want to get a little bit of healing, but you don't have to. It's a bit of a flexible spot. You won't need healing in every single fight, but a few other notable strong healers. You're looking at Blue Crystal Priest. Blue Crystal Priest can give the immunity buff to your group with full uptime. Immunity does not make you immune to damage, it makes you immune to debuffs. So the enemy cannot use debuffs on you. And what typically happens in this game is, you know, if an enemy does a defense down on your champions and then follows up with a strong attack, you know, there's a good chance you'll get one-shotted. So immunity does incredible prevention to that situation. So that's why Blue Crystal is a great unit, great starter unit, and you can get a few others along the way. Please pay attention to the tier list for that. So, you know, you got these units, you got them started. What are you going to use them for? So your first goals when you're playing Dungeon Hunter Champions are to get through the adventure mode and to complete all of the quests. Adventure mode goes normal difficulty, 7 boards, 10 chapters, but not really. It's like 7 chapters in each one. So it goes to epic and it goes to legend. You want to finish your quests, basically, and you want to start leveling some of your key champions. I really like to use Legend on board 6 on 1. That's a pretty good one. When you want to pick a level to farm, you want to use a DPS character, so primarily Green Valkyrie. Turns out, you know, very easy to get, best champion in the game. Now, she's not the #1 farmer in the game, and a farmer is basically a champion you want to deck out that can basically carry 3 undergeared champions on, you know, basically one of these scorpion stages. So you want to find a stage that has like a scorpion, and you want to basically farm it over and over again to level your other champions. So you've got my 3 guys there. The other guy's not going to do any damage. If Rota lands her defense down debuff, she'll kill the scorpion in like, you know, 18 seconds. If she doesn't, it might take like, you know, 25 to 40 depending on the AI and how you target and stuff. This is basically, you know, a simple example of the simplest form of gameplay. This is on autoplay, so again, I don't know how to play his characters very well manually. You can turn off autoplay and use the skills yourself. I am not very good at doing that. I've rarely played the game that way. Some champions are good enough when played on auto. Rhoda is one of them, in fact. And some others are just absolutely terrible when played on auto. You really need to manual to get the most out of a lot of the champions that you play. So that's it. You get some experience. You level them up. The first 6-star champion, unless you pull a rare powerful Nat 5, maybe even Nat 4, maybe a light or dark champion, you're looking for a green Valkyrie. You're looking for a Rhoda. So get your champion up. And as the day progresses, you want to check on a few things. If you're really just starting out, you want to check the black market. You can get a green Grublin Shaman. This guy ends up being Mojo, which is just a very, very useful champion. A lot of endgame players are still using them. In fact, our guild actually praises him as our god. You can get a blue Crystal Priest in this shop, but short of that, as a new player, you don't really care about that too much. In the battlefield, the 5v5 mode is the MOBA mode. If you want to play that, it can be a lot of fun and somewhat rewarding, and it is pretty balanced because it doesn't use the gear of your characters. So if you're playing on a new account, you're going to have about the same chances as someone who has actually played for a while. In terms of Arena, it will be a bit difficult to get started in Arena because people have pretty good gear right now, so it might be difficult to go up the ranks, but you want to make sure you're at the very least clearing your challengers list. These challengers lists are going to give you pretty good rewards, a little bit of green gems, and a little bit of PvP tokens that you can use to buy some things and some units. And that's another thing to keep in mind. So one of the most rare resources in this game are the Tudor Fuzzle Puffs. This increases the, when eaten by any champion, it increases a random skill by 1. You can buy 1 every week. The weekly shop resets on Sunday. So you should get at the very least 360 PvP tokens. You can get a few of the champions, but most of these are pretty not very high use, basically. Anyway, so if you look at like a champion, it has like these skills here. So basically you have this is a Boon Sister. You can feed any color Boon Sister with the training to up a random skill that she has, and that's very easy to do for champions that are natural 3-star or maybe even natural 4-star champions. But natural 5-star champions are so crazy rare that the only way to level their skills is by using those Tudor Fuzzle Puffs. So these skills, that's the only way that these are going to be leveled. Okay, you never want to feed an Archangel to another Archangel. Please never do that. So as a result of that, a lot of us veteran players who've been playing this game for a while, we've paid a lot for our mistakes. You know, I've invested full tutors on the green Greater Demon. You can see I have full skills on that. That's very sad to look at. My first 6-star was Green Snake Lady, and I invested nearly full tutors to max her out. This is just a waste. This is literally like 3 months of progression down the toilet, you know, just investing in weak champions. So get informed, and by getting informed, you're going to do pretty well. Make sure you're using the friends list system. With friends, you can use one of their champions, and that's going to let you progress through the game a lot better. Once you start doing the quest, it's going to direct you to the different game modes. You want to make sure you're doing Ultimate Blitz. Ultimate Blitz is the most rewarding game mode. It has a 1-month cooldown, basically. Just clear as much as you possibly can. Get into co-op if you like. It might be fun for a little bit if you can do maybe some of the starter ones. It's more of a mid-game type of thing, and your main goal as a new player is to get to Elder Drake 7. If you can, maybe even 10. After 10, the difficulty ramps up like crazy, and it's not really worth it. Like, I'm one of the most experienced and veteran players in this game, and I don't farm anything past 10. But, you know, I probably will farm Spider Widow 11 once I get that team up and running. But still, you know, I'm just barely doing that, and it's barely worth it. You want to get the 7 because 7 you can start getting 6-star gear, which is ideal. But 10 is still pretty easy, and you'll get there pretty quick. Spider Widow, you want to try to get the 10, but again, if you can get the 7, that's fine. You might need to, you know, farm Spider Widow on 4 or on 5 to get a full set of Adept. Even if it's a bad set, get them on your healers. It's gonna make a big difference in terms of their overall performance. So the main reason, on top of the fact that the best champions in this game are very easy to obtain for new and free-to-play players, is that there's no way to use money and get gear. Okay, so it's pretty straight up. The only way to get decent gear is to farm these bosses. So that is time investment largely. Yes, it requires energy, and yes, energy refresh requires you know, green gems, but you get a little bit here and there. You can even get the, you know, 24-hour bonus there. If you only spend your green gems on energy refills, which is the most efficient way to play, you will find yourself you know, almost never running out once you're placing reasonably well in arena and with your guild in arena. And yeah, if that's all you're doing, you're gonna do just fine. So that's the game, guys. I'll give you guys a bit more of an expert video as you know, as things evolve in the next few weeks. But for now, hit up the game. I really think most of you guys are going to enjoy it. And again, it's not a game that you have to really put money in. I mean, you can put money and get some stuff more out of the game if you want, but you can certainly get an extremely good and a fair playing experience, not even paying at all. So see what that's like. If you like it, you know, maybe send them some checks and get some stuff if you really care for it. But again, you don't even have to do that. So check it out. Hope you guys enjoy my video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.